Good morning. This is Dylan Jovine from Behind the Markets. Happy Thursday. Today's December 12th. Woo! December 12th. Here we are. Had a lovely dinner with my daughter last night. She wanted to go to the sushi place, which was really cool. I was excited. And we got to celebrate her 16th birthday. It was very nice. So I'm grateful. I'm just so grateful that I get to be there for my kids. And we get to do things like this. 16. Wow. That's a big deal. Anyway, happy birthday, Lila. I know I said that 50 times yesterday, but I'm saying it again. Today, I wanted to talk about China, the trade war that's really escalating and what the Trump administration is going to find when he takes office. And you got to imagine that behind the scenes during a transition, Biden's still the president, of course, but the way transitions are designed is to do a real slow handoff from Secretary of Defense 1 to Secretary of Defense 2, or National Security Advisor 1 to National Security Advisor 2 to a team. So they're sharing information, and it would not surprise me at all if they were actually jointly communicating about certain big decisions that would be left upon the desk of Trump when he took office. And to that extent, what happened last week was the Biden administration really ratcheted up chip export bans to China. Now, you got to imagine this as a kind of escalation. The Biden administration puts a ban on China's getting, let's say, NVIDIA chips, their most advanced chips, their 100 series. Then China finds a way around that. And one of the ways around it that they've been finding is they let countries or companies that are not located in China buy them, and then they go to those people who paid for them and say, we'll pay you even more. So they're trying to find any way around that because China knows, as we've talked about here ad infinitum, that the next war to become a great power, to have a great military, and that the next war is going to be based upon your capacity to use these chips. They're going to determine the speed at which your armed forces is able to process information. The Biden administration has been ratcheting it up, and China has found a way around it every time. And then the Biden administration adds another group of sanctions, and then China finds another way around it. Biden administration adds another group of sanctions. China finds another way around it. Well, China had found a pretty good way around it. And last week, the Biden administration closed that door. And China got really mad. They actually blocked exports of certain rare earth minerals to the United States. And the rare earths are gallium, germanium, antimony. So they blocked these rare earths to the United States. And these rare earths are dual-use rare earths, meaning they're used for civilian, but also military purposes. And that really makes it very difficult for us. So this trade war is escalating as we talk. And I don't know if you guys have also watched the news that the Taiwanese president, Lai, comes and visited the United States, and China actually put exercised basically its largest naval war games against Taiwan, basically signaling to Washington or to the Trump administration that is unacceptable. So this trade war is really ratcheting up, and I would not be surprised if it spills out a little bit more. The Chinese sent 100 ships, 100, the biggest ever, right across the South China Sea to really show Taiwan. And what they're doing is they're telegraphing to Taiwan, Washington, the rest of the world that we can basically surround this island, and what are you going to do about it? They're really pushing this. And I think one of the Trump administration's first big foreign policy challenges is going to be this relationship with China. As I talked about some days back, the U.S. ambassador to Japan, Rahm Emanuel, said that he expects China to invade Taiwan and try to take Taiwan in 2025. The national security establishment of this country says they expect them to take by 2027. And this is one of the major 5 fundamental cracks that we see here, one of the major risks that this turns into a hot war. So this is something that I urge you to keep an eye on. If you get a chance to read this China news, look at what's happening. I don't think the markets are really paying that much attention to that. They just think this is saber rattling back and forth. But I think anybody who reads history, any historian, understands what kind of man Xi Jinping is, Chinese leader Xi Jinping, and they understand that this is a man who sees himself as a man of destiny. Truly a once-in-a-50-year figure, a second kind of George Washington for his country, or Mao. And he sees that the century of humiliation that China had under the Western powers, specifically Britain vis-a-vis the Opium Wars, he believes that China won't erase its century of humiliation until they take Taiwan. Now, some folks are going to say Taiwan's always been part of China. That's actually not true. Taiwan has not always been part of China. As a matter of fact, it's never been part of the People's Republic of China. That's just fake news, but that's Chinese propaganda that's being pushed out to people who don't know any better. Anyway, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. Rare earth. China is basically blocking critical rare earths. And one of the things the incoming administration have to do is scramble to get supplies. And one of the plays that we put out, one of our special reports, really talks about this very, very issue and recommends a couple of American companies, Australian and American companies, that the Pentagon has really pushed and hired to really help solve this rare earth mineral issue. And we still like those companies. So anyway, that's all I have today. Have a wonderful Thursday.